All right, so Kamala Harris is the VP choice. Biden picked his pick. So what are your thoughts? Are we surprised?
I mean, I'm not surprised at all.
He was going safe. It's a safe strategy. It's somebody who everybody's already familiar with. That's mainly it.
You know what? I feel like that she's been being pushed since like almost immediately after Election Day 2016. So,
I mean, wasn't it Cole and Darius who told me in 2016 that Obama had basically set up shop to groom her as his successor?
They were talking about her like.
Well, she got Hillary Clinton's chief of staff. That's why I said that.
Okay.
Well, I just know that even before a year before the primaries even started, she was the name that was thrown out constantly. So I'm like, well, when it came down to Harris or Rice, I kept going back and forth between the two. But I just kept thinking, but this is who the party wants. This is who the party has wanted for 4 years. So
I knew she was going to be the pick as soon after she went after him during the debate, the whole the busing situation. Remember that moment? I was like, okay, wait, she's going pretty hard.
It's
like,
setting up a moment to distinguish her.
Yeah, gave her a nice little sound bite, and she got to get who's the woman that usually plays Beyonce in SNL? What's her name?
oh yeah.
Maya Rudolph.
Yes, I mean, like
Maya Rudolph. I could see Maya Rudolph playing her,
and that's going to be amazing. Like it's going to be great seeing her play her for 4 years, 4 to 8 years.
And also Woody Harrelson.
I mean,
or 12.
Yeah, if she runs in 2024, 12 years maybe.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. I am not going to worry about 2024 until 2020 is over.
Agreed.
Personally.
Do not count your chickens until your eggs hatch.
Anything can happen. 2020, anything can happen. I honestly, do you guys sometimes feel that none of them will actually get in office? I don't know why. I have no reason for this.
I've been having that feeling.
What do you mean by none of them? Like the different people that were running this year, they're of all the people that were running for president this year, the only two that will more than likely ever be president are Biden and Harris at this point. Sanders is not going to run again. Warren is not going to run. I don't really see Cory Booker, Beto O'Rourke, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, any of those people. They're not going to run again.
Klobuchar is out in the wilderness for the next 4 to 8 years.
Hold up.
What was that?
No.
Who said what?
I said it.
Go on, Darius.
Yeah,
go on, Darius.
At the presidential level, anyways.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Cory Booker potentially could run as, again, I know we shouldn't look ahead to 2024, but she would probably pick him as a VP choice. I think their offices are like super close.
Maybe that's possible.
Yeah. Looking at the schedule, we thought it was interesting that Cory Booker is speaking, which night is it?
Night 4.
Night 4. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't really see him being anywhere in the cabinet, but maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the most interesting part of this is the implications for like potential cabinet picks. Because obviously Susan Harris is like
Susan Rice.
Susan Rice is the obvious
several times
secretary. Right.
I even threw in Condoleezza at one point. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, but I don't know. Rice is the obvious like Secretary of State pick. Probably. I mean, just looking at the schedule, it just looks like a lineup of cabinet picks. I don't think Biden will actually announce those picks though until he wins, unless they're just like super obvious.
Well,
Yeah.
in the past, the president, whoever won, doesn't usually even announce their cabinet picks until like December.
Right.
So,
Yeah, they usually just
Sometimes
drop
not till
hints.
January.
Yeah.
so that's, but
So
no,
let's not count our eggs before they're hatched.
for me, I understood, for the last, okay, I'm a progressive. I will first, let me say that. But I also have understood for a very long time, years, that since Trump got elected, that I better start getting used to whoever the nominee ends up being, because it's probably not going to be my first choice, and I better figure out how to like that person. And
None of us have our choice right now. None of us in this.
so yeah,
Yeah.
when it came down to it's probably not going to be Warren, and I understood all the reasons for it, why it's probably not going to be Warren. And it came down to, honestly, it's either Susan Rice or Kamala Harris. I'm like, okay, I need to figure out how to get on board with either one of them and find the good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the good with Kamala Harris is her voting record, as you put it. She's the
Yeah,
third most progressive.
Wait, so that's
Yeah,
little time she's been.
like, I have a few points I want to make here. I mean, I was also hoping that it would be Warren that Biden picked. Holding out hope for that until literally until the announcement came through, and I was like, okay, it's Harris, which was kind of expected. Preferable to Susan Rice, from certainly on a domestic policy standpoint, because of her voting record in the Senate, because of the platform that she was running on in her presidential run. Really was like, it wasn't as progressive as Warren or Sanders, but it wasn't like moderate like someone like Amy Klobuchar.
She was running in the lane that Warren was trying to run in after she realized she'd never get the Sanders.
Basically, yeah, and it's a lane that is very much in line with what Biden's platform is, like what it's become now. After all of those, like the joint task force or whatever between the people from his campaign and Sanders came up with a platform that's kind of a compromise between the moderate wing and the progressive wing. And I think that Harris is very much in that lane too. So, anyone that was starting to warm up to Biden over the platform that he's adopted, which I know that I have, should not should not be any different. Their outlook on this should not be any different than what it was before, because Harris is very much in line with that as well. I honestly cannot believe that anyone is arguing that they were going to vote for Biden before and now are saying that they won't is making that argument in good faith.
I just think it's them throwing a temper tantrum.
We're talking to you, Phil. Write something in the comments since you can't be here. Write something in the comments.
Good Lord. And okay, the other thing is that, like, as I pointed out in the chat a little bit, maybe about 15-20 minutes ago.
We're all in a chat together, friend.
Yeah. Over the primaries, because I've been watching the primaries in the last few months here. I've watched progressive candidates defeat incumbents in New York, in Missouri, in states all over the country in this primary cycle. The House Progressive Caucus, starting in next year, is going to be the largest that it's ever been. And at some point, like in the direction that we're moving, at some point that's going to be a larger caucus in the House than the New Democrats are, which is currently the largest, and is your like Nancy Pelosi wing, basically. Not to mention that Pelosi does a pretty good job at making sure that progressives like have adequate representation in House committees and stuff like that. But like we're moving in the right direction with polling the party towards that. And these people that are saying that they aren't going to vote because they didn't get who they want and are basically throwing a temper tantrum, like I feel like you are basically giving neoliberals an excuse to ignore you by doing that.
And once again,
So,
none of everyone here in this chat, we didn't get our pick for the top spot and now the second spot. So
yeah, I mean,
we're coming-
I was for Warren, then I was for Sanders when it became clear that it wasn't going to be Warren. I don't really have huge issues with Harris. I think that if I was ranking the options, she would have been in my top 5. She would have been ahead of Joe Biden, certainly. But no, I mean, I think that everyone here, for the most part, was probably for either Sanders or Warren, truthfully.
And I want to make one point too. And we're arguing with that the progressives need to just not, just slow down. But she's not a polarizing figure. I mean, she is not someone. The right has their people that they love to hate. They got AOC, they got Hillary Clinton, they got Nancy Pelosi, they got Maxine Waters.
They tried to make her someone to hate, but they failed.
Kamala Harris is not polarizing to the right, to the moderate Republican voter that Biden is picking up this time. Not all of them, but he is.
The only
What are they going to say about Kamala Harris?
Is it
the only attacks?
The woman?
Yeah,
That's
no,
all
they're
that.
gonna call her a cop. The attacks are coming from the left to try and discourage progressives. And
because of her attorney general position in California.
Obviously, we've that seems to be working because you have people that we know personally that are like really upset about this today, and I think that most of them will get over it within a few days.
You know what my first thought was when I saw all of the complaining coming from the progressives was, well, I guess I know what Putin's next move is. Putin's going to send his troll farm out to all the progressive sites to discourage them from voting, because that's what he does. Because he knows that's what our weakness is, and he knows what buttons to push and with whom to push them with. So she isn't gonna get attacked from the right.
Also, get used to the name Howie Hawkins. You're gonna start hearing that more often.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I see all sorts of Joe Jorgensen bullshit too.
Oh gosh, yes. Oh gosh, yes. I get that from my neighbors here, and I'm like, well, that's one person away from Trump.
I really don't think that like the third parties in 2016 didn't perform that well. I mean, there's a claim that can be made that Jill Stein might have contributed to Hillary's loss in the Midwest, but that's not even a discussion that's worth getting into at this point.
So,
but third parties, like I can't imagine that they will receive anywhere close to the support this election that they did in 2016. And
you'll only get it from people who typically vote the third party.
The truth of the matter is that in 2016, third parties, like they got more votes than in a long time, but it was still not much of anything.
I think in 2016, what happened with the third party voters is that in the two main parties, neither candidate was really all that appealing. And so I think a lot of people were voting third party, not just for the candidate that was, on the ticket on the third party.
They were the same people from 2012. Let's remember that.
They wanted to, if a third party candidate gets enough votes, then over a certain percentage, then the next election, that party gets some, funding. And so they were just trying to get a third party as an option. It wasn't about the person at the top of the ticket of the Green Party or the Libertarian Party. But 2016 was a completely different world than what we're living in 2020. And although I agree, we do need more than two parties as an option. Right now, we have crisis going on in like 10 different directions. And, you
Do
know,
you think this is a goal eventually to institute instant runoff voting across the nation just to get
And
rid of that?
we're moving in that direction. I mean, they have it in Maine. I think it's on the ballot in Massachusetts this year, and maybe another state or two.
So give it about 7 years, and it'll be
yeah. I was thinking probably about a decade.
So basically, the vibe I'm getting from you guys is that they've obviously, like, there have been 100 articles about Kamala Harris or Susan Rice apiece, like the past couple of weeks,
and 5 other people at least.
Yeah. So everybody saw this coming because all the articles were basically comparing Harris and Susan Rice, and it
does kind of kill that one scenario you proposed to me, Darius, that I was kind of hoping would come to happen with regards to 2024.
Well, that might still be open.
The cards, maybe.
Yeah, I'll leave that for like a side discussion after this because it's long.
Okay.
But
it's very long. Yeah.
So
but go ahead.
Well, I'm about to say, who's ready for Pence versus Harris?
I mean, that'll be fun to watch. I don't think there's going to be debates.
I'm looking forward to Maya Rudolph.
I'm going to be honest. I like as fun as that would be to watch. I do not believe that there will be debates. I don't think that there will be presidential debates. I don't think there will be vice presidential debates. I will be surprised if there are. So I hadn't even thought about it because I don't think it'll happen.
Well, I think that Trump wants a debate, and I
don't understand why.
Who said the other day? He said, I think that after the first debate, Trump is going to give up because he's going to look like a fool.
Yeah.
The press is going to have a field day, and he's going to be like, nope, I'm not debating.
No, I mean, how many press briefings has he stormed out of, like, just within the last couple of weeks? And he's not going to be able to be pressed on a debate stage about his record if he can't by reporters in the White House.
At most, it would just be a Hail Mary when he figures he's going to lose and has nothing else to lose. I think that's the only way.
Who knows?
He needs to find something to rally his base. So I'm expecting some kind of migrant caravan or some other kind of thing to rally his base within the final days coming around October.
Well, you know what? All I can say is that good luck with the law and order president thing when you've got Kamala Harris on the other ticket.
Oh, law and order. Yeah.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that, Trump. Good luck with that one.
That's probably another reason why.
All right, so
law and order argument.
Who's ready for final thoughts? Final thoughts on this. Where are we going? What's going to happen next?
Okay. I mean, I guess I'll start for me, and I think for most people, this does not really like change the ticket at all. This doesn't make me any more enthusiastic. This doesn't break the deal. I was going to vote for Joe Biden anyway. I'm fine with Kamala Harris being the VP pick. I'm going to vote for Joe Biden. I'm more than likely going to drive 6 hours so I can vote for Joe Biden because of how my voter registration is at the moment. So this is not really a net change in anything for me.
I think that of all of the different picks that were floated out there, honestly, Kamala Harris is one of the least polarizing of all of them. And so I don't think that it necessarily hurts him with the general electorate. It doesn't help him. So it's fine. It's either way.
It'll be what it'll be. And quite frankly, I'm still in that kind of phase where I'm like, I'm not sure that anything that happens between now and a certain point in time is really going to matter.
So, like, is life real right now? Are we real?
Yeah, it's like that's where I'm kind of at. It's like, does this really even matter? I'm not sure it does.
Yeah, I can't really. You guys know I've been kind of taking a little media fast. So this is my welcome back. So, what about Cole, Darius?
I mean, basically, we have a pandemic, we have a depression, and we have an election where the losers probably won't accept the outcome. And when you put it that way, I mean, at least for me, independent of who the VP or even the nominee is, I mean, I'm voting to get rid of the Trump administration because I think it's going to be disastrous. Kind of like how we think of maybe the end of the Roman Republic or something if we don't. So that's where I stand.
Well, and I also think that people talk about the lesser of two evils. Okay, Trump is evil. There's no doubt about that. I don't think that Biden is evil.
You just killed our fair and balanced.
Kamala Harris is evil. Neither one of them are evil. Now, maybe they weren't my first choice, but they ain't evil. So, I mean, the choice is obvious.
Do we have any Trump fans here that can support that? We need the other side. Where's the Trump fan? Come on. Who's an advocate?
Oh, and maybe you can step outside and find some maskless people. Maybe they might be Trump fans. I don't know.
If they're not being carried by their children out of a grocery store.
Well, here's a little PSA. If you're a Trump fan, write in the comments. Maybe we'll add you on the next couple shows. I'm serious about that. Who's here? Who else? What do you think, Cole?
Yeah,
Don't
I
write
mean,
your-
just
Go ahead.
What'd you say, Cole?
I said sure, but just know that you know we want good arguments, we want factual arguments. So
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, my sort of take on it is we're one like Supreme Court pick away from all of this falling apart. To me, that's the sort of that's down to like the bones of the argument. I think the only reason that this entire thing hasn't fallen apart, and Barack Obama will say it over and over again, it's because the courts are still held by, by one vote, which is basically the Chief Justice sometimes, votes on our side. But, if we lose one more Supreme Court justice, then I think things will look like really bad regardless of whether or not we get Congress back. So that's the main thing I'm looking at with the election. Everything else just kind of gets put on hold until November is over.
So, I mean, we have the rest of August. Probably the news cycle will continue to talk about Harris for maybe 2 weeks, a month.
No, they'll move on. They're going to move on to something else
rather quickly.
Well,
by the end of next week.
Focus on this because then I'll keep them away from Biden.
See, I think that the news cycle is going to be on Harris for about 24 hours, and that's it because Trump sucks all the oxygen out of the room. Yeah. He can't help from being the top story every day from something he does or says.
Well, on that note, Harris is the VP choice for the Democratic candidate, and also the third female choice, right? Third?
I think
fourth.
Third. No, it's the third woman as a vice president pick, but the fourth time that there's a woman on the presidential ticket.
And first African American, right?
First African American woman, yeah.
All right, well there we go. History is being made.
She's actually biracial. She's
it was Victoria Woodhull originally. I'm trying to think.
And also, she's the first. Obama is considered. Let's bring this back to generational talk. Obama is considered Joneser, so meaning he's a boomer or whatever, Xer. But she would be the first, like Gen X or Gen Xer.
Yes.
Ticket or major ticket. History is being made. All right. Yes. On that note, thanks for watching Generational Talk.